Hey beauties, it's Riri. Today's video is all about the best makeup of 2025. First up, of course, we're going to start with primers. The first one is Ole Henriksen's Banana Bright Face Primer, and then the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer. I will note that not everything here was released or launched in 2025. These are just the products that I reached for the most. The Ole Henriksen, and these are both very different, like vastly different. The Ole Henriksen, as you can see, is very glowy, very kind of luminous, brightening, things like that. It smells delicious. It's a very thin texture. It sits beautifully on the skin and sits beautifully and wears beautifully underneath makeup as well, which I think is super important. I will note that the dupe, in my opinion, to this is the Supercharged from Milani. So if you are looking for a more affordable option, that is the way to go. I like the Ole Henriksen a little bit more just because of the texture, and I feel like I get a little bit more of a glow. So if you're somebody like me that you have drier skin and you're looking for a hydrating primer, highly recommend. The Huda Beauty Easy Blur was gifted, and as you can see, this one's almost gone. It blurs the pores. It sets beautifully on the skin. It gives a soft kind of diffusion slash, I would say, mattifying effect, but not in a way that it mattifies. And I know that doesn't really make any sense. Hopefully you guys are kind of seeing that in the demo. It doesn't offer any hydration, no glow, nothing like that. It just, for me personally, having larger pores, it just fills in the pores beautifully. Another honorable mention is going to be the Revolution one. I think this is a really, really beautiful option. This, to me, is a spot-on dupe for the Makeup Forever one, so I just wanted to kind of throw out some options there for you guys. Next up, of course, we have to address the brows. This is a favorite. It is a favorite from the past, and it is a multi-repurchase. This is the NYX Powder Louder Brow Pencil. I generally get the shade Ash Brown. I am going to quickly just show honorable mention the Alley Glines. This is the Revi Beauty Brow Pencil, but because it's a little bit newer, I did not want to showcase it for today. The NYX, however, like I said, it is a multi-repurchase. Highly, highly recommend it. And I, of course, will have everything linked down below for you guys to shop. If you do choose to shop using any of those links, I do earn a small commission, just noting it for you guys. But the reason that I love this so much, and I generally prefer something a little bit more thin. I also am somebody that kind of prefers a retractable pencil, but there's something about the texture of this. It genuinely does feel like you're just putting on a powder. It's very long lasting. It works well. The pigmentation lasts a long time. And it has that really good mid ground of, you know, being firm enough that it's not clumping up. It's not super creamy and breaking apart, but it's not so firm that it pulls and tugs. Just the texture of it, the way that it kind of naturally sits on the brows. I really, really love it. And then I, of course, because I need help with my brows, I am a massive fan of brow pens. This Revolution one, y'all, blew my freaking socks off. Phenomenal. Especially looking at the price point with the Revolution one versus the Benefit one. Now, I love the Benefit one. If I can get it on sale, I will repurchase it because I love that one as well. They all offer beautiful pigmentation. The L'Oreal one of the ones that I'm showcasing, yes, I love it, and yes, I've used it up, but there's something about the level of pigmentation and just having a little bit more, I guess, bristles or tips in terms of like the Revolution one and the Benefit one. I just kind of prefer those two. But if you are somebody like me that you need brow help, these are great. They are bulletproof. They last all day. And I love that you can get in there and make the most perfect little strokes. You know, they look, you know, as natural can look for me personally. Going into brow pomades or brow gels, the Grande one, y'all, it is a repurchase for me. I got a mini, I believe, in a subscription box, and I love it. I love the actual texture of it. It's kind of a more thick, kind of whipped moussey type texture. I love how teeny tiny the applicator is, and it also softens my brow hairs. I have very coarse, wiry brow hairs, and y'all, through the course of using the first one of the Grande that I had, I noticed such a drastic change in like the actual texture and the way that my brows felt. Some honorable mentions and some other ones that I really, really love are the Maybelline one. The Maybelline one is great as well. I really, really have recently fallen in love with the one size one. I prefer a smaller applicator, but these all kind of do the same thing. I think they're all fantastic. These all work beautifully. Definitely would repurchase and would highly recommend all of these. Next up, this should come as no surprise, the Tarte Shape Tape Ultra Creamy is my all-time favorite. I do also really like the L'Oreal True Match. I feel like they're both pretty comparable. They both have a little bit more of like a serum-like quality to them. They offer good coverage without being thick, without being incredibly opaque, without sitting heavily on the skin or anything like that. And I generally like to either go in with a very small amount of concealer on the very inner corner only, just so that it doesn't look quite as heavy, and that's with every concealer. Or I like to place it on the side of my jaw area where I have like a lot of scarring and stuff like that. And just offer myself a little bit more coverage. I think if you're somebody like me that you have, you know, more dry skin, more mature skin, you have texture, you have fine lines, things like that, these two are great options. And I have to say, I love both. The Tarte Shape Tape, though, just because of the actual consistency of it, the wear time, things like that, I just have a preference for that. And that happens to be the one that I've repurchased over and over and over and over again. I also use it every single time to carve out my brows. So yeah, the concealer category, it's generally going to be the same, but those are my top picks. Next up, honestly, one of my favorite categories for 2025, y'all. I'm so particular, and I have sensitive skin, I have dry skin, I have textured skin, so I'm really particular about foundations, and I feel like 2025, y'all, was a banger of a year for me personally in the foundation category. I did want to direct compare two of my favorite Maybelline foundations from the past year. We have the Plump and Glow, and then we have the Lumi Matte. But I did want to put them both together so you guys could see texturally, finish, opacity, things like that. I kind of have a preference for the Plump and Glow. I feel like it just gives, for me personally, it's a little thinner of a formulation, and it gives just a little bit of extra glow, which I personally love. I like both of them. I think they're both fantastic. And then, of course, we will pop on some honorable mentions as well. Like I said, this was a banger of a year for foundations for me. The Beauty Blender one that I got from Sephora, I believe it's still available there and it's on clearance. I got it on clearance and I love it. The Huda Beauty Easy Blur was a win for me. The LYS foundation stick, I am finishing one up and I did already repurchase it. Y'all, so many different foundations. I will note too that, you know, not everything that I showcase, you know, may be your favorite. It may not be geared toward you if you know, maybe have oily skin or something like that. I do always just want to note that I am about to be 47. I do have dry, textured, very sensitive skin. I have acne scarring. I have rosacea, things like that. So just noting that for you guys. But hopefully you guys are seeing in the demo portion the difference between the two foundations. I think they're both very, very pretty. I think if you do have more oily skin, the Lumi Matte's probably a little bit better of a formula for you. And if you have any experience with any of these, and you can kind of chime in down below, I welcome all comments, of course. But these are my top finds for foundations for 2025. Next up, one of my favorite categories is the bronzer category. I cannot help it, y'all. The Benefit Hoola Glow, I know it's no longer available, but if you can find it, it's fantastic. There are a couple of drugstore options that I really like as well. The Revolution one is really beautiful. The Essence one is incredibly affordable. But there's just something about the texture of this, the way that it sets on the skin. It has a beautiful little level of glow to it without being like sparkly or glittery. Next up, the NYX Buttermelt. I absolutely love the bronzers and the blushes. They smell incredible. They are highly pigmented. They last a long time. They wear well. They're just fantastic, you guys. And as you can see, both of these look very, very similar. So if you were on the hunt for the Hoola Glow, you never got it, and you wanted to try it, that's a really good alternative. The Sun Bunny is one of my all-time favorites. I have repurchased and repurchased and repurchased, I would say since probably 2015, 2016, 17, somewhere around there. I'm a fan of a like buildable, blendable, long-lasting, slightly glowy type bronzer. And then with the Charlotte Tilbury, y'all know I don't really do luxe makeup very often, but this pan is massive. It's going to last me a lifetime. And again, it has a subtle, soft, sheeny, luminescent quality to it. It does blur the skin. It sets beautifully on the skin. And then a standout for me this year, I got this Ace Beauté contour stick in an IPSY bag in the shade medium, and I loved it so much that I went back through and added one in add-ons in the shade light. It's creamy, nicely pigmented, but it blends out incredibly well, even as it sets on the skin, which sometimes as they sit on the skin, they don't blur out and like blend out as well. They kind of stick in place, they get patchy or muddy, and this does not do that. It's long lasting. I just really love this. That was definitely a standout this past year. Next up, another all-time favorite product. I absolutely love blushes. I just love that they give a beautiful pop of color. They just add freshness and brightness and liveliness to the complexion. These are the Fenty Beauty, the Suede Cheeks. This formula is very, very similar to the Glossier one that I recently discovered. I will note that the Glossier one, once you get the cap past a certain point, it literally falls off, which I think that it's kind of intentional and purposeful because I guess it's supposed to be recyclable or whatever the case may be. But I am noting it feels a little cheap, y'all. Okay. But these, both the Fenty Beauty one and this one, feel the exact same. They have this beautiful, very soft, smooth, silky, suede effect to them, which for me personally, on my skin, again, drier skin, textured skin, they look phenomenal. They give a beautiful, blurred, diffused effect to the skin. I absolutely love these. Top find, like, ever, not just 2025. The Kosas blushes I absolutely love as well. They're a beautiful, softer, baked formula with, again, a slight luminescent quality. And what I mean by that, you guys, it gives kind of a lit from within gossamer effect. It's not chunky, glittery, glimmery, or anything like that. So for me, it's kind of that beautiful balance of not being super dry, matte, flat, but not being like crazy glittery or shimmery or anything like that. Of course, another favorite, as I was speaking earlier about the NYX bronzers, I love the blushes just as much. I will note with the blushes, they're incredibly impactful, you guys. A little goes a very long way. And then this beautiful Catrice, it's more of like a highlighter type formula, but I've been using it as a blush / blush topper. I was blown away by this. Another standout for me, these were in my Ice Cream Beauty bag or box, I can't remember which one, but they are the Beauty Creations and SpongeBob collaboration blush sticks. One is more of kind of a soft pinky. The other one's got a little bit more punch to it. They have that really nice kind of in-between texture that I really love. Like, they're not so wet and slippy and oily, you know, kind of too emollient where they don't like set down or stay in place. They don't pick up product underneath. They're lovely, but they're not super firm. The House Labs, I have used this and used this and used this. It is incredibly beautiful, very, very smooth on the skin. Again, a hint, a little whisper of a luminescent quality to it. I absolutely love the color of it too. The Milk makeup ones, I did buy some of these and some were sent in PR. So just for full transparency, we'll assume that this one was sent in PR. These are fantastic. They are a little finicky and they are not beginner friendly in my personal opinion. You can see how punchy this is, how bright it is, and they stay in place. It does not come off until you want it to come off. They're bulletproof. But I love these for like a quick wash of color, a quick one and done look, because I can use them on the lips and on my cheeks. They last so long. Same exact preface with like the Huda Beauty one. These are like the blurring filter blushes. These you have a little bit more kind of wiggle room, a little bit more time to kind of put them into place. I still don't feel like they're super beginner friendly, and yes, unless you're using them on your lips, because they are so incredibly pigmented. But if you do place them down, you have to work fast. So I opted on this day for the tutorial portion to go in with the Fenty Beauty. Y'all, there's something about how beautiful these look on the skin. Again, they give this beautiful finish to the skin. They give a beautiful diffused, you know, soft blurred effect. I absolutely love them. I'm not somebody that ever says, you guys know this if you're with me for a long time, I am not somebody that's like, oh, you need this, oh, go get this right now, or oh, you must have. You don't need anything. If you are a blush lover like myself and you're on the hunt for a soft, diffused, beautiful, buildable, long-lasting, you know, blush, I think you would absolutely love the Fenty ones. And of course, you know, the Glossier one is quite similar. I decided to go in with the Catrice and put that on the top, just as more of like a blush topper. So those are all the top blushes for 2025. Next up is the highlighter category. Of course, I had to go with the Noctilucent palette, you guys. Of course, y'all know my love for indie brands. There is something so beautiful and special and impactful about this particular palette. I use it as shadow toppers, inner corner shades, use it as highlight. I know this is maybe not for everybody. Totally get that because they're colorful, but they are beautiful and super special. They no longer sell this, but I did want to showcase, I have not gotten as much use out of it, but I did want to showcase the Gourmande Girls Trapped palette. I think this is the shade Trapula, but it is kind of the same preface of being just kind of unassuming and looking more white in the pan, but then it also has a beautiful kind of like shift to it and flip to it. Very, very beautiful. I will note the Noctilucent one is a little bit more kind of sparkle forward, but if you do go in with a fluffier brush and kind of diffuse it out, it's more of just the wash of color, not so much sparkle. This freaking CoverGirl one, y'all. I know I got it in a subscription box. Do I remember which one? No, but it is impactful, beautiful, doesn't accentuate texture. It's absolutely perfection. I love it. And of course, I had to showcase Benefit Cookie. It's one of my all-time favorites, also a multi-repurchase. This is definitely more of a blinding in your face, you know, type of highlighter. You can go in with something a little bit softer and more fluffy to kind of diffuse it down, but I still love it just as much as I always have. And then, of course, you guys have heard me talk about the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm and how many carats. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. It has a kind of soft, very kind of slippy, if you will, like putty-like texture to it. And there's not really any opacity to it. It's just, it looks like a night sky. That is the best way that I can describe it. It looks like sparkling, you know, stars in the night sky. It's absolutely incredible, you guys. I use it as an eyeshadow topper. I use it on the inner corner, the brow bone, and of course for highlighter. It is so incredibly beautiful. Highly, highly recommend. I did decide to go ahead and demo the CoverGirl one just because you guys, it blew my socks off. It's so, so beautiful. And I love that I can go in with this and really pack a punch, very blinding and stuff like that if you want it to be that way, or you can go in with a less is more approach and it's just beautiful and sheeny. But again, highlight without being chunky, glittery, glimmery, without accentuating texture and stuff like that. I just love it so much. Next up, another super easy category. I only have a few because I don't use powder all the time, but the Huda Beauty Easy Blur, the e.l.f. Halo Glow, which is also a repurchase, and the newer to my collection Morphe palette, the Morphe powder. These are all fantastic. I am somebody that I take a less is more approach specifically with powders, and I'm particular about how they sit on the skin. The Morphe one, you guys, blew my socks off. I think I got this maybe early spring, early summer. It is so incredibly silky, smooth, looks incredible on the skin, you know, kind of mattifies and blurs and sets everything in place without over drying or looking masky. The e.l.f. Halo Glow, I love it so much, I've repurchased, and I also have the pink version of this. It gives a beautiful, soft, diffused glow to the skin. If you have oily skin, I probably wouldn't recommend it. And then the Huda Beauty powder, this was gifted. It does have a strong fragrance to it, which I don't prefer fragrance in like that type of a product, but it smells good, if that makes any sense. If you hate fragrance, you'll hate it, but it's a soft kind of florally perfumed type scent. It's so incredibly lightweight, very finely milled, and it looks so beautiful, you guys. And again, I've demoed this many, many times. For somebody that does not really like powder, this blew my socks off. This is my all-time favorite powder, the Huda Beauty one. Fantastic. Of course, if you want a, you know, lower price point product, the e.l.f. Halo Glow works beautifully. The pink one I also really love from them, and that Morphe powder is great as well. And for the demo, I decided to do the e.l.f. Halo Glow on one side so you guys could kind of see the difference between that and the Huda Beauty. And then, of course, the Huda Beauty on the other side. I will kind of note that the Huda Beauty one, because it is a little bit more kind of blurred, diffused, a little bit more mattifying, it can look a little bit drier on me right at first, but I am always somebody that says, specifically having drier skin, I like to kind of give my makeup like an hour or so to look a little bit more lived in, if you will. So as the powder kind of sets and the makeup does become a little bit more lived in, it looks incredible. I would just kind of note that, just, you know, kind of err on the side of less is more here, because it can look a little bit drier if you do have drier skin, but I still highly recommend it. This is something that I would absolutely repurchase it. It's just fantastic, you guys. I cannot say enough about it. Again, though, you know, the fragrance I could do without, but it is a pleasant fragrance. So hopefully you guys can see the difference, the side by side, with like the demo portion of it. I think both are equally as beautiful. But the e.l.f. Halo Glow, I think, gears a little bit more dry skin friendly than what the Huda Beauty one does. To finish off the complexion, I have two setting sprays. We have ColourPop Pretty Fresh and then the Huda Beauty Easy Blur. The Huda was gifted. And the ColourPop, ever since, I think 2017 or 18, maybe somewhere around that line, they came out with the Pretty Fresh collection. Absolutely floored by it. It was at that time and still has continued to be one of my favorite lines. I think that it just kind of refreshes the makeup and stuff like that. I do feel like I get better wear with it. And then with a Huda Beauty one, I absolutely feel like I get a prolonged, wear with my makeup and stuff like that, especially in the summertime because it gets so incredibly hot and muggy here. So highly recommend both of them. I did also finish up, that's the reason I did not showcase it here. It was in my empties. The e.l.f. Power Grip setting spray, the glowy one. I don't feel like I get a prolonged wear of my makeup on that. I think that's not the case with that particular one, but the way that that one sets on the skin and really brings my makeup forward, really just gives a beautiful kind of luminous finish to the skin. I love it. I will note with the Huda Beauty one, I have to keep the little thing clean all the time and consistently try to make sure that it's clean because it does get dirty. It can get clogged up. It gets a little bit gunky. But yeah, I feel like setting sprays are kind of setting sprays. I feel like some of them help in terms of, prolonging the wear of makeup and stuff like that. And a lot of them are more to just kind of refresh and kind of bring life back to the skin. So that is my top picks for setting sprays. Next up, we are moving on to the eyes, finally. The Alter Ego eyeshadow base is my all-time favorite eyeshadow base ever. I really love the Anastasia Beverly Hills one as well. That one I used for many years. A cult classic for me is the MAC Paint Pot. I used to use Soft Ochre or I think Painterly. But yeah, this one it's nice and thin, has a nice slip to it, and it offers a little kiss of coverage. So if you do have blueness, sallowness, veining, things like that, it will cover most of that, but it's not heavy and it's not thick and it's not dry. Specifically for somebody like myself, I have dry, heavy hooded lids. I have dry skin. It's just great and it's incredibly affordable. And of course, we're going to dive into palettes. The Chicago Speakeasy, I'm pretty sure did not come out in 2025, but it is a staple in my collection, you guys. There's something so incredibly beautiful about this. This is an honorable mention because I continue to reach for this. The packaging, the color story, the layout. It's so incredibly beautiful. I kind of call it like a beautiful elevated neutrals palette. I love it. Absolutely love it. Spectacular. It's got some beautiful finishes in it. Beautiful, like kind of different, unique colors in there. Absolutely love it. Next up is the Witch City Salem, another favorite from them. Look, Nomad Cosmetics, I already know, y'all. They can do no wrong in my eyes. From the beautiful lenticular packaging, the color stories, the layouts, everything that they do is done with thought and intention. And it's not just, hey, let me slap a name on something and go and call it a day. I love that this is like the greens. You can go kind of neutrally grungy, but then it's also Halloween-esque. I feel like you can use it year round. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to note too, all of the Nomad palettes and Gourmande Girls palettes will be gifted. They would have been sent in PR. And I do have an affiliated code with Gourmande Girls as well as with Nomad Cosmetics. It is RERE10 to save 10%. If you ever use my code, I truly, truly am grateful and I appreciate it so much. You guys using my code, of course, it saves you guys 10%, but it also helps me get a little bit of a kickback. But it helps me to stay on their PR list. Next up, also from Nomad Cosmetics, I think they killed it this year, you guys. The Pacific Northwest. Staple, beautiful. It gives a little bit of grunge. It's earthy, it's beautiful. Again, I think just the color stories, the layout, the attention to detail, the packaging, everything, you guys, is so incredibly beautiful. And they have, in my personal opinion, one of the most beautiful and consistent formulas across the board. Next up, one of my all-time favorites, period, not just from Gourmande Girls, is the Nevermore palette. You guys know I'm either going very grunge, very earthy, or I go very like warm neutrals. This right here, you guys, it hit the nail on the head. It's moody, kind of grungy, grimy. I absolutely love it. Very, very unique to my collection as well. I think she killed it. She nailed it. Next up is the Artitude Cosmetics Obsession palette. This was gifted by my beautiful friend and subscriber, Janet. Hey girl, hey. Beautiful. This was, I think, the very first time that I tried Artitude. She sent this and then a more kind of muted version of this. It's absolutely stunning. I love the color story, the layout. Again, it's got some moodiness, some earthiness, a little bit of neutrality to it, a little bit of grunge to it. Also a really, really beautiful long wearing formula, easy to work with, beginner friendly. Next up, this was also gifted from Janet. This is the Davini Beauty Mingo palette. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. This is also something that blew my freaking socks off this year. It's very much like pinky greeny, again, my vibes. And it's something very unique to my collection as well. She has some spectacular shimmers in here. The mattes and the shimmers worked and performed well. Beautiful. Highly, highly recommend. Next up is the Harvest of Souls from Fantasy Cosmetica, another one of my favorite indie brands. This palette really reminds me of the Artitude one. I like that it's kind of set up in those beautiful quads, so it's very beginner friendly. I think they also have a really nice formula, the mattes and the shimmers. It's consistent. This is a beautiful standout palette. I absolutely love Fantasy Cosmetica. Next up from Mandy Makeup is the Stopping by the Woods palette. This is not available right now, but she is planning to bring it back, so I did want to mention it because I've used it over and over again. I highly recommend it. It's incredibly beautiful. Again, very kind of earthy, grungy. There's some beautiful, spectacular shimmers in here. It's a consistent and really, really nice formula as well. Next up is the Glaminatrix, the Tones of Turd. This initially started as an April Fool's prank, and they brought it to fruition, and I absolutely love it. I love the packaging, the theming, the names. I'm all for like the smart assness, the kitschiness of something. This is a Riri palette through and through. The grunge, the greens. It's got some depth. It goes very light. The shimmers are spectacular in here. They have a beautiful, beautiful formula. Next up is the Cyborg Choir palette from Adept Cosmetics. The mattes are not my favorite. They're just not as punchy and as pigmented as I personally like. The shimmers though, spectacular. I love the color story. I love all of like the shimmer, beautiful special shades. The mattes need some work, but overall I do highly recommend, and I love this palette. Another standout for me this year was the Patrick Ta palette that I received, I believe in my like IPSY icon box. This is beautiful. It's really, really nicely pigmented, but easy to work with, easy to blend, and the shimmers are beautiful. This is like one of those really spectacular, in my personal opinion, neutral leaning palettes. It's an everyday classic type of palette, but a little bit more elevated because of the shimmer formula. Next up, another one from Mandy Makeup. This is the Cottage Breakfast palette. I have only used this twice, but I did want to mention it because it is really, really beautiful. I think she did a perfect... I love the color story here. I love the layout and everything. And of course, it's a me palette. A little bit of grunge, a little bit of neutrality, some depth. And that entire collection, y'all, was so incredibly pretty. I absolutely love the entirety of the collection. Next up is the After Hours palette from ColourPop. This is definitely not a Riri type of palette. It's more kind of romantic, softer, muted, more cool tone. But I fell in love with this palette. And I've said this for years that ColourPop is not my favorite in terms of more specifically their matte formulation. And I just like a little bit more from shimmers. But I was really, really blown away by this. I've used it many, many times. So I think they've definitely improved the formula. And my all-time favorite pick for 2025, can y'all guess? Just take a guess. Of course, the Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. I fell in love with the one from 2024. I love this one just as much. I loved the addition of the mattes. I am not going to go into depth on this because I have multiple videos up on this. My top find for liquid eyeliner also comes from Danessa Myricks. This is incredible. It's super, super pigmented, very black. It has a beautiful brush tip applicator with it. It dries matte. It's very inky, very black. It glides beautifully over even like chunky formulas, glitter formulas, and it is bulletproof. So I highly, highly recommend this. On to mascaras, which you guys know is one of my favorite categories. This is the Essence Lash Without Limits. I opted to get the brown in this. If you are looking for a softer, more natural mascara, but offers, you know, curl and length and stays in place all day, doesn't get flaky or anything like that, I highly recommend. Of course, it's affordable. My favorite lower lash line mascara is the little mini wand from Maybelline. This is a multi-repurchase. It's very inky black, teeny tiny, so it really grips every single lash. I will also sometimes, if I'm using a mascara that maybe isn't giving me as much for the top lashes, I will also use this at the root of the top lashes and then kind of go from there and build upon it from there. Next up, this was gifted. This is the Too Faced Ribbon Wrapped Lash Mascara. I will note that this is a little bit wetter upon kind of first application, like when you first open it, but as it kind of sets, which can be true for a lot of mascaras for me, I like the formula more. If you're looking for very black, some hold and length, it's great. Next up is this one from Milani. It's kind of the same thing. It's a little bit of a wetter formula, which is not always my favorite. They can just get a little bit messy and a little bit gloopy, but again, very inky black, really good lift, and a lot of length here. And then the one that blew my socks off, y'all, this was in my advent calendar from MCO Beauty. It is fantastic. It's got like a kind of more soft bristly brush. It's also very black and very inky. It's a little bit of a kind of more dry moussey type formula, which are my favorite. And it gives beautiful length, a little bit of hold, a little bit of lift, and then offers length as well. So for me, this was a standout, and I cannot believe it because it's incredibly affordable. Yeah, I love this. On to liners. Some honorable mentions are the Revant liners. These were gifted, but I absolutely love them. I've really been enjoying the Illuminati liners. They are like more of a multi-chromatic type liner. I've gotten them in subscription boxes. And then the ColourPop liners. Some of them do not work as well, in my opinion, or do not last as long. But this particular yellow one, it's got a sheeniness to it. It is great. My all-time favorite, I've raved about it forever, is the Fine Beauty White Eyeliner. It is my all-time favorite liner, hands down. It is bulletproof. It's creamy. It glides. It doesn't tug. It stays in place. It's just fantastic, you guys. Highly recommend it. Next up, moving to the lip category, there is a ton to get through. I am showing the Clarins Lip Oil. That one is empty. I'm also already working on 2 different ones. I'm going to kind of go through the process of just showing you guys and then like removing it and then taking it off. But these are all ones that I highly recommend. I'm going to start with treatments, move into like lipsticks, so on and so forth, and then we'll kind of go from there.